Back with the Ref Show from youaretheref.com. Warm welcome to the show with David Hirst on the panel this week. That's quite timely because we have yet another Sheffield Wednesday controversy to discuss in the second part of the show. And with Hirsty is Halsey as ever. And let's kick off right at the top with the FA Cup semi-finals over the weekend. We'll begin with Manchester United's victory over Everton by 2-1. High-octane game at Wembley. Anthony Taylor was in charge. Just want to throw at you, first of all, Louis van Gaal's rather sour, I thought, and very unnecessary comments at the end. We know how good Taylor is, because you tell us repeatedly. And even though he's won, Van Gaal is saying all the 50 decisions went against us.
I don't know, I watched the game and I think he was totally out of order, to be honest. Listen, he's won the game. Let's bask yourself in glory at winning the game, winning the cup semi-final, and your team and your fans are going back to Wembley. I think if there was a gripe, I think perhaps for me, I think the penalty that was awarded against him was harsh. I thought it was a really good tackle. Listen, there's always going to be a little bit of contact, whether you make those challenges in midfield, in the last, right in the back in the defence, or in the opposing penalty area. And I just thought perhaps if Anthony just played on there. I mean, because
other than that, you were happy with his performance.
I thought, listen, no one's coming out of the ground talking about the referee, and both referees in both semi-finals, as I say, they're not talking about the referee, and none of their decisions changed the game.
Why should Van Gaal sour things?
It becomes a pointless argument for him.
Yeah, it does.
You've won the game. Okay. This is not a league game that gets you relegated, promotion, or whatever. This is a game that's finished now. Yeah. You move on to the final.
Why not keep the focus on his team and their victory with a great goal?
Man under pressure. Man under pressure. I mean, talk in the papers this weekend that Mourinho's going to take over the job, signing it this month or whatever next month. Like I say, he's looking at getting himself out and getting into another club, I would imagine.
Looks like it. They want to nitpick, but layman's point of view, I thought Anthony Taylor was right. But what do I know with the penalty? I keep being told that just because you actually get the ball doesn't necessarily, if you take the man out as well, doesn't necessarily mean that it's not a foul. If you've got, and that's why I thought.
Well, I was listening to the pundits, on the TV. Danny Murphy, I think I've got a lot of respect for, a lot of time for, and he knows the game. He's recently come out, and I absolutely agree with Danny. I didn't think it was a penalty. I listened to Alan Shearer. And I think sometimes he's so inconsistent, because one week a challenge like that, it's a great challenge, it's not a penalty. As we saw, I think it was Everton v Stoke, when Stoke got that late penalty, where he said it was never a penalty. Well, Alan, please tell me what's the difference between the two challenges.
Okay. Well, at least we're agreed that it's good to see tackling still in the game.
I remember the days when that used to be the statement, I won the ball.
You've never won the ball.
Not me personally, obviously.
You've never put in a tackle.
No, but that used to be the shout. Referee, I won the ball. And it's sort of, then you played up, so it weren't a foul. Now, you win the ball, the trailing leg catches a player or whatever, and it's a free kick.
But
now,
it's confusing,
we're going to end up, it's going to be netball.
It's when you make a clear challenge, you play the ball. There's a difference between playing the ball and playing the man and the ball.
Right.
So there is that difference.
Yeah, but as a player, you've got to look at momentum as well. If I'm making a challenge, I can't just keep my leg out of the way when I've gone in with the other one. It's got to come with me, unfortunately.
Of course it has. And it's, as I say, for me, he's got the ball clearly, and then obviously just every little bit of contact. Don't mean to say it's a foul.
No, definitely not.
The other semi-final, incident-free, Crystal Palace through 2-1 against Watford. Glenn Turner's analysis on RefCam was that Craig Pawson's low-key approach had worked.
Yeah, I think it did for him, and it was pleasing, because I think he's had a difficult season this season, Craig. I think sometimes he gets labelled of being too laid back, but I don't think there's a problem with that. And as I said, both referees have come out of the game and they've not changed the course of the game. So it's good.
Neither was that the case in the title race over the weekend. Leicester 4, Swansea 0. That was a terrific result, keeping their nerve without Vardy as well, David.
Yeah, well, I mean, obviously missing Vardy through another referee's decision. Decisions, yeah. But I mean, that's Leicester absolutely flying. I mean, can they do it?
Yes.
Of course.
But it's interesting, isn't it? After what went on last week with Leicester and West Ham, what referee did they send to?
Yes, Mark Clattenburg.
To the game. Mark Clattenburg, and I mean, his performance just said it all, didn't it? I mean, I would expect him, for me, to be appointed to this year's FA Cup final. I mean, he has to be. I mean, hopefully he's going to be.
I think without looking at everything else, I mean, he has to be because he's the best referee in the business.
He is, and he's also been appointed to the Champions League semi-final.
Champions League semi-final. How can we
yeah.
overlook a guy that's doing games like that, one of our biggest games of the season?
Yeah, and just to repeat, as Mark says, Mark Clattenburg's been appointed Bayern Munich against Atletico Madrid first leg.
Well,
Champions League
it's in Madrid. The first leg is in Madrid. So, I think he has to be appointed. He's going to the Euros, and just look at the way he's performed yesterday.
It's the biggest game of the season. So what you should have the best referee doing.
Absolutely, and he should have been referee. He should have refereed that cup final way before now.
Yeah.
Okay, so it could be a double celebration for him. A couple of red letter days, it would appear, coming up. Back to the title race, but I don't even think you can include Arsenal now. But certainly it was important for Sunderland, the goalless draw up at the Stadium of Light between those two. And Mike Dean was refereeing there. I suppose the one talking point, really, both sides had penalty shouts. Now, where do you two stand on those? Because we're talking before.
My hands behind my back.
That's what I'd say. And his eyes closed.
And my eyes closed,
Because you thought that there should have been a penalty or two, didn't you?
Well, I don't think I don't think the penalties, to be fair. I mean, I think what we've got a situation where players are going. I mean, I think it was Sunderland player sort of half trying to cover his face with his hand. It's an awkward one for him, and he's a yard away from the ball that's travelling at X miles an hour. So
we're teaching him well, aren't we? We're teaching him well. I think he's absolutely spot on. If you look at the first penalty, Mertesacker, Defoe's bangs the ball in. He's half a yard, and the distance, the pace. What's everybody's reaction? A player's reaction when that happens. What do? You straight away you like that, aren't you?
Protect yourself.
You protect yourself. And for me, I thought Mike Dean got it absolutely spot on. It has to be deliberate. And then we go down to the other end when Arsenal had a shout and it's deflected off his leg onto his arm. No penalty. If had it hit his arm straight away, not deflected off his leg, then you would say yes, that's a penalty because his arm's up there.
And it's more clarity on this now. We're getting a bit.
I think if you're reaching away from your body,
it's
handball.
bigger.
If it's around your body, it's part. You can't run around with the arms by your sides. That's for sure.
Well, referees, I don't think referees know what is and what isn't anymore. We see so many inconsistencies with this law, but it's simple. It has to be deliberate and it has to be arm to ball.
Talking about complexity, we had a late reshuffle of Premier League referees at the weekend. Of course, some have been, the senior ones have been away at a UEFA training camp where Martin Atkinson got injured in that get-together. He had to come off his game. That was Liverpool 2, Newcastle 2. Andre Mariner took charge for that. So it was all a bit confused coming up to the weekend.
Yeah, it was. I mean, Andre should have been doing the Man City Stoke game and then obviously moved on to the Liverpool-Newcastle game. I think Newcastle may have been a bit disappointed. They think they should have had an early penalty.
He didn't pick an injury up, trying to block the ball with his hand or anything, did he?
No, Andre wouldn't pick up an injury because he doesn't move that fast, but he's still a good referee.
Exactly.
Uses experience. I mean, it's. I know a lot of people were saying, should our referees be going on this course at such an important stage of the season? There were some big games during the week, and we had our top referees. Yeah, we had our top referees missing. Now, could that course take place in May? At the end of the season, could that course take place then? And I think with the training they've put in and the games they've been doing, it's inevitable that one of our top referees will pick up an injury.
Okay, wrapping up the first section anyway, Roger East was in charge of Bournemouth 1, Chelsea 4. Some quite one-sided games with Southampton winning 4-2 at Aston Villa, no surprise there. Neil Swarbrick and Bobby Madley had the City stroll against Stoke, 4-0, and he did the no cards trick as well.
Yeah, it was excellent. I mean, I thought to be fair, Robert handled the Merseyside derby really, really well. Yes, okay, he had a lapse in concentration. He was going to caution the Everton defender for that awful challenge. And then obviously he got the yellow card out and put it back in his pocket, and Peter Kirkup just said that's a horrible challenge. Great teamwork, and we come to the right decision. Doesn't matter how we get to that decision, they come to the right decision. But I thought he refereed really well on the Merseyside derby, and it was a low-key game. Kept himself out of it, didn't go looking for trouble, just came in when he needed to, and stayed out, wasn't fussy. One thing I like about Robert, he's not a fussy referee, and that's what it's all about. You know, you start being fussy, then the players get upset with you, don't they? Then the tempo goes up, then the niggles start coming in. And well done, Robert.
Okay, that's a wrap for part one. It seems like the referees had a reasonably good weekend in the Premier League and in the FA Cup. Unfortunately, the same cannot be said of the Championship, and we have one huge talking point for the second time in recent weeks involving the same player and the same club coming up in part two. Join us for that.